Instant noodles are found in millions of kitchens, offering a hot and convenient meal in just a few minutes. Simply open the package, add the seasoning, pour in boiling water, and wait for the noodles to soften. But have you ever wondered how ordinary wheat flour becomes a perfectly shaped block of instant noodles? Today, we are entering a modern factory to follow the complete journey from raw flour to finished package. The journey begins at a modern food factory, where raw ingredients arrive before production starts each day. Inside, an automated production line connects every stage, from preparing the dough to sealing the final packages. Before entering the production area, every worker changes into protective clothing and follows strict hygiene procedures. Clean hands, covered hair, and sanitized footwear help protect the production area from unwanted contamination. Wheat flour, the main ingredient in most instant noodles, arrives in sealed tankers or large food-grade containers. Before the flour is accepted, technicians collect samples and examine whether it meets the factory's quality requirements. Its moisture, color, cleanliness, and dough-forming properties can affect the quality of every noodle produced later. Approved flour passes through industrial sieves, which remove unwanted particles and break apart any compacted flour. The sifted flour then travels through enclosed pipes into large storage silos, protected from moisture and outside contamination. When production begins, an automatic weighing system releases the precise quantity of flour required for each. Batch filtered water is prepared and carefully measured because even small differences can change the consistency of the dough. Salt and food grade, alkaline ingredients are dissolved in water before being introduced into the mixing system. This solution helps create the noodles' characteristic color, firm texture, elasticity, and distinctive eating quality. Flour enters the industrial mixer first, followed by a carefully measured spray of the prepared liquid solution. Powerful paddles rotate through the mixture, distributing moisture evenly across millions of tiny flour particles. At this stage, the dough appears crumbly rather than smooth, but its internal structure is already developing. The mixed dough rests briefly, allowing moisture to spread more evenly throughout the entire batch. This resting period makes the dough easier to process and helps create stronger, more uniform noodle strands. The rested dough now enters the rolling section, where heavy steel rollers begin compressing it into continuous sheets. After the first compression, the loose dough becomes a thick sheet, although its surface remains slightly rough. Some production lines combine two early dough sheets, pressing them together to create a stronger and more stable structure. The sheet passes through several roller pairs, with each gap becoming gradually narrower than the previous one. Sensors continuously monitor thickness, helping the factory maintain the same noodle size throughout the entire production line. The result is a long, smooth, flexible sheet of dough, ready to be transformed into individual noodle strands. The finished dough sheet now approaches a precision cutting machine fitted with rows of narrow grooves. Within seconds, the continuous sheet is divided into hundreds of thin strands with nearly identical width. The strands leave the cutter faster than the conveyor below, causing them to gather into regular waves. These waves create useful spaces between the strands, allowing heat and moisture to pass through more efficiently. A continuous blanket of wavy noodles now travels forward, perfectly aligned and ready for the cooking stage. The raw noodle strands enter a long steaming chamber, where controlled heat and moisture begin cooking them. Hot steam surrounds every strand, transferring heat while preserving the carefully formed wavy structure. As the noodles heat, their starch changes structure, helping the strands become cooked, flexible, and stable. The steamed noodles emerge partly cooked but still intact, ready to move into the drying process. An automatic blade divides the continuous noodle blanket into portions of carefully controlled length and weight. Each portion is folded neatly and placed into a metal mold that determines its final shape. Rows of identical portions move together, creating the familiar square blocks commonly found inside noodle packages. The noodles must now lose most of their moisture so they can remain stable during storage. For traditional fried noodles, the molds travel through a carefully controlled, enclosed bath of hot cooking oil. The heat rapidly turns the water inside each noodle strand into steam, forcing it out of the structure. As moisture escapes, it leaves countless tiny pores that will later absorb hot water very quickly. The noodle blocks emerge dry, light, and golden, with the crisp texture associated with fried instant noodles. Non-fried varieties use controlled hot air drying instead, producing noodles with a different texture and lower oil content. After frying or drying, the noodle blocks remain too hot to be sealed safely inside their packages. Filtered air passes around each block, gradually lowering its temperature while the conveyor continues moving forward. Cooling also gives the noodles time to stabilize before their shape. Color and condition are inspected. Meanwhile, a separate production area prepares the seasoning that gives each noodle variety its distinctive flavor. Salt, spices, flavoring ingredients, and dried seasonings are blended according to a carefully controlled recipe. Automatic equipment measures the seasoning into small sachets, then immediately seals each one against air and moisture. Depending on the product, additional sachets may contain flavored oil, sauce, chili, or dehydrated vegetables. Every cooled noodle block is paired with the correct seasoning sachets before entering the final packaging machine. A continuous sheet of food-safe packaging. Film wraps tightly around the noodles and accompanying seasoning packets. Heated sealing jaws close, the film along its edges, creating an airtight package ready for inspection. Checkweighers and inspection cameras identify packages with missing contents, damaged seals, or incorrect weight before shipment. Any package that fails inspection is automatically removed, while approved products continue toward the packing area. Approved packages are counted, packed into cartons, stacked onto pallets, and prepared for delivery to stores. From simple wheat flour to a convenient finished meal, this is how modern factories produce instant noodles on a massive scale.